Hi everyone, hope you're all doing good. Right, this is the first round draw for the 18th edition of the Tapology Lucky Bastard Game. Last week, the 17th edition came to an end with Baron von Rattus being crowned the champion, and this week means we've got a whole new game for it, with a record of 33 people entering the game. Just run through those names quickly. We've got quite a few new people in the game as well. Nice to see. We've got LM, AO, and AZ. Just for the purposes of this game, I just call him A. Our current defending champion, Baron von Rattus, Bellatrix, Boom Shakalaka, Calfoth, Hager Ruiz, Captain Quebec, C. Collins 44, Peasball, Costradamus, Damien Handel 420, Dixco 514, so he's a new entry, so best of luck on your debut. DJ Tommy Technique, Dr. Maxis 2, Foghorn Sam, Fresno MMA, KK Kombu, Cushy Cake, Mason Zero, he's another new entry, so best of luck to you. Mule Floyd, Piggy Bank, Rigno, Shat, Schwer Industry, Sigu, me, Stephen Terry, Cartera, the MMA historian, Trail Allman, Trig, Troz, Under Surveillance, and ex-con Chris. Right. So good luck to you guys and girls and or them, whatever you go by. And we'll just quickly run over the rules again quickly, as we do have a few people that are new to this game. Basically, I'm about to spin a random wheel that contains the names of all of the UFC fighters in it. I'll go through the list of names one by one that I've just gone through there, and you'll each be paired up with a randomly spun UFC fighter. If they win tomorrow night, you go through. If they lose, draw, it's no contest or some other bullshit, then you're eliminated. And we just carry that on every week until there's only one left. Or if nobody wins, then the wheel will be declared the winner. It's purely down to luck. Anyway, for this first round, UFC 299, Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Vera, the rematch, of course. Obviously, first time around, Vera won. No, despite what Sean says about being undefeated, but he lost. He got kicked in the leg, hit his nerve or something like that. But he lost fair and square that first one. So will Vera find another kick like that? That I don't think so. I think that he definitely got a little bit lucky last time. Legitimate win, but he was certainly favourable for it. It landed how it did. As for Sean O'Malley, he's got to be honest, he surprised me a lot recently. I wasn't expecting him to get the title against Aljamain Sterling. But to be honest, I can see him winning. I've got him for a decision, but simply because I just can't, even despite his KO streak, I just can't see him knocking out Marlon Vera. Even when Vera's last loss, that was a very close decision. So I think, and I think O'Malley should be smart enough about it that even if he can't find that knockout, it should still be doing most of the work, scoring the most points. So I think he's going to not play it safe, but I think he won't go crazy for his first title defense. So Sean O'Malley by decision. That's my first guess. That's my prediction for that one. But of course, you're not here for my predictions. You're here to see who you're getting drawn up with in the Lucky Bastard game. So let's get on with the draw. First up, A. Let's see who he gets drawn with. And he gets Yadong Song. Yadong Song for A. There it's up against Petr Yan and That's, well, like a lot of the fights on this card, that's a really close fight. I've gone back and forth a few times on it. Um, in the end, I've decided to go with Petty Yarn by decision. Although, to be honest, I think Yadong Song, if I could actually see him winning by knockout, being the first to finish Petty Yarn, I believe. If not the first, then one for a very long time. But I think it's either going to be Yarn by decision or Song by knockout. So that's a 50-50 one in my opinion. Next up to take on the wheel is our reigning defending Tapology Lucky Bastard Game champion, Baron von Rattus. So let's see how he does. Let's see who's getting drawn with. And he gets Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. And yeah, I know I have not pronounced that one right, that's for sure. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. S-I-E-J. S-I-E-J. I think I spelled that right. Probably not. Anyway, he's up against Michael Pereira, and I could think that Pereira is going to get the decision there. To be honest, it's a fairly close fight, but he's Pereira's. I've always been impressed by his performance every time he's steps in the octagon. He's consistently got decisions, so he doesn't seem to have a lot of firepower to him, but he gets the job done and always looks good doing so. So I'm not 100% convinced that Baron von Rattus is even making it through the first round of this edition. But we shall see. Stranger things have happened in MMA. Bellatrix up next to take on the wheel. Who's going to be in Bellatrix's corner tomorrow night? And Bellatrix gets Felipe Lins. Felipe Lins for Bellatrix there. And he's up against Iron Kutalaba. Came in looking like the Hulk on his weigh-ins, all painted green and all that. Oh, I think Hulk was what he was going for. I don't know. Either way, I don't think that's going to help him. As I've got Lins to win by third round knockouts on that one, and it's simply because Kutalaba's been a bit inconsistent lately. He's just every time I've tried to pick one of his fights, when I've picked him to win, he loses. When I pick him to lose, he wins. I don't know, but Felipe Lins, on the other hand, just a little bit more confident in him. So that's why I've gone with that. So I think it's a good pick anyway for Bellatrix. Boom Shakalaka up next. Boom Shakalaka, notorious for getting heavy favourites and going out anyway. He gets another favourite here, Benior Saint Denis. But having said that, I don't think he should be a favourite. To be honest, Benior Saint Denis up against Dustin Poirier. And I know that Saint Denis is the current hype job. He's got some great wins. And there have been some people saying that he doesn't deserve to be fighting this high up in the division already. I can see the arguments for that, but I disagree. I think he deserves a fight, and Dustin Poirier is a very interesting fight for him. Having said that, Dustin Poirier is just a bit too much of a step up. I think I know he's had a bit of his last fight against Gaethje, but you can't really hold that against him, can you? Losing to Justin Gaethje. I mean, 99% of the people in the world would lose if they stepped in a cage with Justin Gaethje. So more than 99%. But anyway, going off on a tangent there, a little bit too green overall. And I think Dustin Poirier, I know he's towards the end of his career, he's hinted at retirement, but I think he's still got enough in the tank to derail one more hype train. And with it, boom shakalaka's hopes. Anyway, Cal Foth next up to take on the wheel. And Calfoth gets drawn with probably if not the betting favourite, certainly the one I'm most confident in, Asu Al-Mabayev. Asu Al-Mabayev there. Al-Mabayev. I always struggle spelling sort of these kinds of names. But anyway, I've got him to win first round submission. He's looked very good in his previous fights from what I've seen of him. A lot of them obviously outside of the UFC, of course, but he's got a good mixture of decisions, so he can go the distance. And when he doesn't go it's usually ends in a very quick submission. I think I just and he's up against CJ Vergara. I just can't see how CJ Vergara stops him or handles him at all. So I think that's almost certain ticket through to the next round there for Kalfoth. Can Hager Ariz up next? Let's see if he's as fortunate with the wheel. Ooh. And he gets Rebellious Despange. I think that's how I pronounce it. Probably not. I'm notorious for mispronouncing names, but again, he's another interesting one because I think he's only had about 4 MMA fights, all on the regional scene. But I know he does have, I believe it's kickboxing or taekwondo pedigree, something like that. But I don't think that's going to be enough. Well, he hasn't got enough MMA fights under his belt. He is the bookies' favourite and quite a big bookies' favourite as well. But I'm actually going to go with Josh Parisian and for this one, and third round knockout as well inside the distance because because they've all been fairly quick flash highlight reel KOs. I just don't. I'm not sure about his gas tank. I'm not sure how long he's going to be able to last in there if he finds himself in trouble later in the fight, how is he going to handle that? We've not seen that in an MMA situation from him. So I'm actually going with the underdog, Josh Parisian, for that one. But a bit of a wild card one there for Kenhager Ruiz. Captain Quebec next to take on the wheel. And he gets Jack Della Maddalena. Jack Della Maddalena. Maddalena. Yeah, that's probably not how you spell it either. Lena. Why can't every fighter just be called Josh Smith? Make it a lot easier for me. Right, anyway, he's fighting Gilbert Burns tomorrow night. And, well, I've got... I can. That's a real 50-50 fight. I've gone back and forth on it a few times. There's a few fights, particularly the old guard versus the new guard style fight. That seems to be a theme for this card. You had the Dustin Poirier versus St. Denis, Kevin Holland, Michael Venom Page, Gilbert Burns, Jack Demelana, Petty Yan, Yadong Song. It seems to be a recurring theme in this one. And for the most part, I've tended to side with the old guard. And in this case, I'm going with Gilbert Burns to win by decision, simply because I think experience is just going to shine through. Really, similar situation to the Benoit Saint Denis fight I was talking about a few minutes ago. I think Burns is just going to be too smart, too experienced for him. So, not overly confident on Captain Quebec's chances there, but we'll see. C. Collins, 44, up next. And he gets Joanne Wood. Joanne Woods there for C. Collins, 44. I believe this is actually Joanne Wood's last fight before she retires, I think. I may be mistaken on that, but I'm pretty sure I heard that somewhere. And that's always going to throw a spanner in the works with the mentality of a fighter going into their last fight. But nonetheless, I've gone with Mariana Moroz, second round submission. It's simply because Joanne Woods has shown weakness against well, on the ground against very good a submission. I was just trying to think of the names off the top of my head. Oh fuck. I need to pay more attention to women's fights, really. But no, I can't think of those names. But she's lost a few submissions. Mora's got a couple of submission wins under her belt. In any case, even if she doesn't find the submission, it's going to be a decision for Moraz, I'd think. But I don't know. It just depends on Joanna Wood's mentality going into that one. So that's a very interesting fight to watch. Cheeseball next to take on the wheel. And he gets the other side of that fight, Mayana Moroz. I probably pronounced her name like 5 different ways in the last minute. Mayana Moroz. I'm just going to call her Miss Moroz from now on. It'll be easier. But yeah, like I say, just talking about that one, I try not to repeat myself too much, save the rambling. But I think she's going to win by submission, second round submission, or if not that, by decision. Kostradamus up next to take on the wheel. Kostradamus, he gets Dustin Poirier. He gets Dustin Poirier there for Kostradamus. How can I not even spell Poirier's name right? Oh my. Right, Poii. Yeah, I think I got there eventually. Anyway, as I've already mentioned, because well, first of Kostradamus is going to be up against Boom Shakalaka, who got St. Denis earlier. And Poirier is I've picked Poirier to win. I picked him to win by decision, I believe. Oh no, actually no, third round knockout apparently. Nope. So, okay, I must have got muddled up with something else. But just having said that, it's probably from where I flipped back and forth a few times on the methods. But either way, I reckon Poirier is going to come out on top for that one. Simply because it's just a bit too much of a jump up for St. Denis. So off that little battle there, I think Kostradamus will come out on top. Damien Handel 420 next to face the wheel. When this page actually loads, here we go. And he gets Miss Moros for Damien Handel 420. Obviously, it's going to, because there's so many of you in this game, you're going to inevitably repeat a few fighters who are going to get drawn with a few ones that will overlap. So I'll try not to repeat myself more than necessary. But as I said, second round submission or a decision there for Mrs. Morris. One of our new entrants, Dixgo 514. Best of luck for your debut in the Lucky Bastard game. Let's see who's the first ever fighter you're going to get drawn with in this game. Who do you need to win tomorrow night? And you get drawn with Kyler Phillips. Kyler Phillips there for Dixgo 514. And yeah, Kyler Phillips is up against Pedro Munoz. Another one of those that kind of fits the theme of old guard versus new guard, I suppose. But this time I've actually gone with Kyler Phillips, the one of the new guards, to win by decision. Pedro Munoz, very experienced, but having said that, he's just a little bit too far in his career. And well, Kyler Phillips, arguably starting to enter the prime of his. he's got together a good little win streak. It's not going to be too long, so we really start seeing him break into the higher rankings of the bantamweight division. I wouldn't have thought so. Um, it does seem to sort of lack a little bit of firepower, as most of his wins come by decision, but it works for him. So I think that's probably going to how it plays out tomorrow night. Overall, good pick there. All good. Well, obviously you don't really pick them, but the wheel does that. But very good draw there for your first ever one. DJ Tommy Technique up next, and he gets Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns there for DJ Tommy Technique. And as I've already mentioned, someone else had his opponent, Jack Della Milana. Who was it again? Captain Quebec. So DJ Tommy Technique versus Captain Quebec. As I've already mentioned, I favour Burns that one. Simply more experienced and still look very good in his recent performances. And obviously he's coming off a loss against Bilal Muhammad, but again, that guy, well, he should be fighting for the welterweight title. Don't know why he isn't, but either way, no shame in that one. But yeah, like I say, trying to not repeat myself too much, but Gilbert Burns for the win there. That's my prediction. So good draw there for DJ Tommy Technique. Dr. Maxis 2 up next to face the Wheel of Doom. He gets Marlon Vera. Marlon Vera there for Dr. Maxis 2. Like I say, one of the main eventers against Sean O'Malley. And yeah, like I say, sure, he won the first one. He's 1-0 up against Sean O'Malley. Will he find that kind of hit again? I don't think so, but maybe. But I hope he does, to be honest. I'm actually rooting for him in this one. Simply, Sean O'Malley's a little bit annoying. I'm going to be completely honest with that. I don't dislike him as a person, probably a smashing fella, but I just he gets on my nerves a little bit with silly wigs and all that. Just let the fighting do the talking. But anyway, despite all that, I do still think O'Malley's going to get the win there by decision. But best of luck to you, Dr. Maxis, too. I'm hoping Vera pulls it off. And simply because Vera seems like a great guy himself. It's, well, you'll say, you'll have the home crowd behind him, I suppose, because seemed to get a very good reception at the press conference. So I'll have the Miami crowd backing him, no doubt. That could be what makes a difference tomorrow night. Anyway, Foghorn Sam up next. Very close that one, but he gets Dustin Poirier for his pick. That's Costradamus also got Dustin Poirier earlier up against, and so there's 2v1 of them up against Boom Shakalaka. And as I said, Dustin Poirier is, like I say, yes, he's coming towards the end of his career, but still too tough an opponent for Jack Della Maddalena. So I think it's a good pick overall. Another one that I've backed. Fresno MMA up next. Let's see who Fresno MMA gets drawn with. And he also gets Kyler Phillips. Him and Xgo 514. Both relying on Kyler Phillips to pull off the win tomorrow night. And I think he will. As I've already mentioned, I reckon he's going to get the decision against Pedro Munoz. Simply because, as I say, he's on great form. Pedro Munoz past his prime. So I can't see Munoz being finished, or at least not by Phillips, but Phillips should get a fairly comfortable unanimous decision there, I'd have thought. KK Kombu up next to take on the wheel. And KK Kombu gets drawn with Gilbert Burns. So that's Gilbert Burns there again. Let's see, a couple of other people have had him already, have they? Oh no, just the one other. Yep, DJ Tommy Technique also had Gilbert Burns. So they'll be up against Captain K-Beck as well. And yeah, again, don't want to repeat myself much, but Gilbert Burns for the decision win, as I've already mentioned several times. So I think KK Kombu's got a great chance of getting through there, along with DJ Tommy Technique. Cushy Cake up next to take on the wheel. And the wheel has assigned him the UFC newcomer, Michael Venom Page. M-I-C-H, Michael Page. Now, that's a very interesting one. He's up against Kevin Holland. That's UFC, well, let's be honest, UFC gatekeeper Holland. No shame in that title. He's a very solid gatekeeper as well. And he's, I'll say, up against Michael Venom Page, best known for his Bellator run. It's kind of hard to judge how well he's going to do because he absolutely dominated in Bellator. But then again, the standard of the fighters he was fighting in Bellator, he often got accused of being a can crusher, which to be honest, I think that's perfectly fair criticism of him because if you look past some of the names of people he's fought, he does have Douglas Lima and whatnot on the record, but scrolling through a few of the people that he's had flash knockout wins over, I'd never heard of them. I couldn't name many of them off the top of my head. And he was getting favourable matchups because he was one of Bellator's biggest draws. And to be honest, will he get that kind of treatment in the UFC? Doubt it. And to be honest, I think this shows that he's not up against Kevin Holland. I think Kevin Holland's going to get the win. I think he's just going to get the decision win now. He's experienced enough. He should be able to fend off whatever Page has to throw at him. And this is very much going to be a rude welcome to the big leagues kind of moment for Page. He has looked good against when he has fought the elites of the division. He's I think he's had a win and a loss against Douglas Lima. He's against Storley as well. I think he lost that one, but he can go the distance. He can face adversity, but not quite like Kevin Holland. Not, like I say, he's still solid rankings gatekeeper there. But a very interesting test for Michael Venom Page there, or MVP as he came to be known. But anyway, I'm not overly keen on his chances. Therefore, not overly keen on Cushy Cake's chances of getting through. But best of luck anyway. Mason Zero for or Mason O, however he wants to stylize it. Again, making his debut in the Lucky Bastard game. So best of luck to you. Let's see who your first ever fighter is going to be. And you get drawn with Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades there for Mason Zero. And let's see, Curtis Blades. I've actually got Gelton Almeida to win by second round submission in that one, simply because of the sort of up and coming heavyweights, or of the just outside of the elite heavyweights. So he's looked to me the most well rounded. Both he's good striking, good grappling. Seems to have a good gas tank on him, which is heavyweight can make all the difference. So I'm actually going with Almeida for that one. But who knows? Like I say, especially with the heavyweights, anything can happen. I mean, it was a bit of a fluke, but yes, Blades does have a win over Tom Aspinall, technically. Look how well that one's aged. Obviously, it was Aspinall injured himself in that fight, but still, a TKO is a TKO. Anyway, before I start rambling, let's move on to Mule Floyd. Let's see who he gets drawn with for tomorrow night's action. And he also gets Kyler Phillips. Feels like there's quite a few on that Kyler Phillips train now. I say decision against Pedro Munoz. I'm not going to repeat myself too much, or try not to anyway. But who else has got that one? Is Dogo or Dixco 514 rather. Fresno MMA and Mule Floyd. So yeah, no pressure on Kyler Phillips tomorrow night. So we'll move on to the next one. Piggy Bank is next to face the wheel. And the man who was just talking about this the man to end the hype for against Michael Venom Page. He gets Kevin Holland. And yeah, I think he will be. As I've been mentioning, I think Kevin Holland is. I gave him a gatekeeper tag, but I say no shame in that tag. And I think he'll live up to that. I think he's going to turn Michael Venom Page away at the gates. And sorry, mate, welcome to the UFC. This is the sort of standard you're going to be fighting now. And it's, I say, a very interesting test. One that I think Kevin Holland's going to be experienced. Well, he's got the more experience of fighting the better fighters. So I think that's going to shine through. Iron sharpens iron, as they say. And I think Holland, yeah, just gonna be the one to end the hype or end the hype of Venom Page. Rigno is next to take on the wheel. And Rigno gets drawn with Ion Kutalaba. Yeah, Ion Kutalaba there. I think that's the first time he's come up in this one. I think Kutalaba. I think someone had his opponent earlier in the game, but starting to lose track of it now. Good thing I'm writing him down as I go. But yeah, that's right. Felipe Lins, third round knockout was my official prediction for that one. And I say just simply because Lins looks to be the more consistent in his recent fights, or at least more consistent than Kutalaba has been. So I'm not overly keen on Rigno's chances tomorrow, but we shall see. And best of luck to you anyway. Shat is next to take on the wheel. And he gets Manya Moros, or Miss Moros, as I'm going to be calling her now. Manya Moros. And yeah, as I mentioned a few times, second round submission win over Joanne Wood. With women's MMA in particular, it can be a bit unpredictable at times, and obviously there's the factor of Joanne Wood's potentially being her last fight, so that's another little factor to consider. But overall, if the Moros that has shown up in recent fights shows up again, no reason why she doesn't win it. And Schwer Industry up next. And he gets Josh Parisian. Josh Parisian there for Schwer Industry. That's the last I've mentioned earlier. He's the betting underdog, but he's the one that I've picked to win. Simply because I just don't trust the lack of MMA experience from Rebellious Despage. Despachet. Plus, Despachet is actually getting into this sport quite late on. I think he's 35. That's not saying he can't have success, but time isn't on his side. So that's another thing to take into consideration. And we haven't seen him really being taken into the deep waters yet in his MMA career. So I think that's actually quite a good one, despite what the bookies think. I think that as long as Parisian can weather the early storm of the early knockout threat, I think he can do it. I really do. So that could be a better pick than the bookies suggest for Schwer Industry. Sigu up next. And Sigu gets drawn again with Manya Moros, or Miss Moros. Bloody hell, you're all going around to her house tomorrow night, aren't you? Oh, hey, that's if you lose this, that's like half of you lot out of the game. So yeah, as I mentioned, I've got her to win second round submission against Joanne Woods. Not really any more I can add to that, as I've gone over that to flog that horse after death. Me, Stephen Terry, up next. Let's see how I get drawn with. Let's see. I get the main event underdog, Marlon Vera. I'm not mad about that one. Like I say, I mentioned earlier, I'm backing, well, not backing him to win, but I hope he wins against O'Malley. But ultimately, I think O'Malley gets the job done. I think he gets the decision. I mean, he's just got that belt that he won't want to let it go. He's going to have that motivation and the common sense, I'd have thought, just to play it safe, get revenge, obviously, and his first title defense. So I don't like my chances in the game, but I do like the fact that I get drawn with one of the fighters that I'm rooting for. So a bittersweet selection for me there. Tartara up next. Let's see if Tartara gets drawn with. He gets Mikkel Pereira. Mikkel Pereira there for Tartara. And he's up against Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. I apologise, but I have no idea how you pronounce that one, so apologise for butchering that one. But in any case, I've got Pereira to win by decision in that one, simply because I've just been more impressed with what I've seen of his fights. Got quite a few good decision wins in there, seems to consistently do that. Not necessarily the biggest threat striking wise, but if he goes the distance, or goes into the later fight, he'll certainly have the upper hand. So I think that's quite a good pick there for Tartara. The MMA historian is up next. Let's see. He's going to be drawn with. And new name for the first time, Macy Barber. New fight as well. Which unfortunately for you guys will mean a bit of rambling. I know you all love my nonsense predictions, but I've got Caitlin Serminara. I'm still, to be honest, I didn't even realise she'd got married or changed her surname, but I don't really follow the personal lives of fighters outside the cage that much. But I still know her as Chukagan. But Caitlin Serminara there. I've got her to win by decision. And I think she's the underdog in that one, but it's a very close fight. Could go either way. Sermonana, she had a whole load of decision wins consistently. I think she lost her last one, but again, only by decision. Macy Barber is she's had quite a few good decision wins herself and finished a few by submission and knockout. So she can do it all. But I don't know why. I just decided. I think it's just the experience, maybe overall, or I don't know. My gut instinct says Caitlin's going to get it done, and that's why I've picked her. But that is a coin cost fight in that one, in my opinion. So real 50-50 chance there for the MMA historian, in my opinion. Trail Allman is the next person to take on the wheel, and he gets one of the biggest favourites on the card, Mateus Gamro. Mateus Gamro for Trail Allman, and as I've got him to win that one. Obviously, I don't think anybody wouldn't. I've got him by decision simply because Rafael dos Anjos just should be a bit too experienced. Well, too experienced to not get finished. Anyway, that's what I'm gonna say. I don't think I think he's a little bit too uh, over the hill to potentially get any kind of win, especially against Gamrot, who's one of the rising stars of the lightweight division. But should be able to fend off the worst of what he's got to throw at him, or at least I like to think so. Anyway, I always hate to see the legends getting knocked out, but can't be denied that one way or another, Gamrot should get that win. So that's almost certain ticket to the second round for Trail Allman. Down to our last four, and we have Trig next to take on the wheel, and Trig gets the other end of that fight of Rafael dos Anjos. Uh, Rafael dos Anjos, and I suppose just to try and play devil's advocate, we could say, well, it's the former lightweight champion, got the experience, but truth is, I think Trail Allman's going to get the better in that fight. He's got the heavy favourite, so yeah, Gamro just a bit too hot for Dos Anjos to handle, but Dos Anjos should make a good account of himself in any case. But unfortunately, I think this is where we will be saying goodbye to Trig. Trig, not to be confused with Troz. That kind of threw me the first time I was typing out. I was like, I swear I've already put this one in when I was typing it out, but no, Trig and Troz, different people, similar names. But it is Troz to take on the wheel next. And he gets Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland there for Troz, very right on the edge of that slice of the wheel there. But in any case, I think he should be grateful for that because I think Holland's going to beat Michael Venom Page, as I've already mentioned a couple of times already. I think the one of the UFC's old guard gets the job done, should fend off the new challenger. Having said that, I suppose you've got to give Michael Venom Page props for going into the UFC, taking this fight. I was fully expecting him to, given how loyal he was to Bellator and given how good Bellator were to him, I was fully expecting him to stay with Bellator, become part of this Bellator PFL merger. So to see him actually go into the UFC, yeah, fair play to him. Nothing but props to him for that one. But I think it's just going to be a slightly rude awakening for him. Under surveillance up next. Who exactly is he surveilling? Is he the one under surveillance? I don't know. Well, he's going to be surveilling the performance of Asu Al-Mabayev, who I've mentioned before is probably the heaviest favourite on the card, or certainly the one I'm most confident in. Got him first round submission against CJ Vergara. And yeah, as I've just mentioned, just can't can't see how he loses that. It's all his performances up till now have been good. They seem to have quite a few people like Almabayev coming onto the UFC roster recently, coming from sort of Eastern Europe and Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, those Kazakhstan, all that is, and they're usually very good grapplers when they do come over. So it's I think that's going to be the case there. First round submission there for Almabayev. And last but by no means least, Ex-Con Chris. Let's see, who is Ex-Con Chris going to be drawn with? Who's going to wrap this draw up for us? And he gets Michael Venom Page. So yeah, and I've obviously been chatting a bit of shit about him in this video, but overall I do respect that he's taken the risk, but just can't see him getting through the gatekeeper, Kevin Holland. Anyway, we'll just go back just to our Excel sheet we got here. As that concludes our draw, everyone has been given a fighter, whether they like it or not. We got A with Yadong Song, Baron Van Rattus with Mikhail Oleg Sijizuk, Bellatrix with Felipe Lins, Shakalaka gets Benoit Saint Denis, Cal Foth with Asu Almabayev, Canhego Ruiz with Robelius Page, Captain Quebec with Jack Della Maddalena, Lee Collins 44 with Scotland's finest Joanne Wood, Cheeseball with Marnia Muros, Costradamus with Dustin Poirier, Damien Handel 420 also with Marina Muros, Go 514 with Kyler Phillips, DJ Tommy Technique gets drawn with Gilbert Burns, Dr. Maxis 2 gets Marlon Vera, Foghorn Sam with Dustin Poirier as well, Fresno MMA with Kyler Phillips as well, KK Kombu with Gilbert Burns, Cushy Cake UFC newcomer Michael Venom Page, Mason O with Curtis Blades, Mule Floyd with Kyler Phillips, Piggy Bank with Kevin Holland, Rigno will be hoping that Iron Kutalaba gets the win. Chat also popping over to Marina Morris's house tomorrow night, along with pretty much everyone else in this list. Schwer Industry with Josh Parisian, Tigu with Mario Morris, that's going to be a crowded little house. Me with Marlon Vera. Tartaro with Michael Pereira. The MMA historian with Macy Barber. Trail Allman gets drawn with Mateus Gamro, one of the heaviest favourites on the cards. Trig, UFC former UFC champion Rafael dos Anjos. Troz with Kevin Holland. Under surveillance with Asu Almabayev and Ex-Con Chris, also with UFC newcomer and Bellator, so I suppose Bellator Hall of Fame. Do Bellator have a Hall of Fame? If they do, Michael Venom Page should be in it. Anyway, that is the draw complete for this first round. All that leaves me to say is best of luck to all of you tomorrow night in this game. Best of luck with your picks on Tapology. Of course, best of luck if you've got any bets on this card. And you're brave if you do have bets on this card because there's so many 50-50 fights on there. But anyway, I'll see you next week, and until then, so long for now.